Hello, everyone, and welcome in. This is Aaron St Denis, the FF Mad Scientist, and welcome to Rat Pack Fantasy Football, the Week 1 premiere show. Right off the bat, we had a technical difficulty there. I went to hit the countdown and it froze and the stream started. And then I went to intro myself and got cut off by my own countdown timer. So we are off to a solid start on week 1, but
we are professionals after all, Aaron.
Yeah, we'll just keep moving here. And as I said before, this is the premiere of Rat Pack Fantasy Football. We are live for the first time, and here today is our week 1 preview show. We are going to be doing mainly the AFC home games with the exception of Monday Night Football. It is Bills and Jets, and there's too many AFC home games, so we push that one to tomorrow's show since there's just too many games. So 8 today and 8 tomorrow. Today's games, we're going to do Lions at Chiefs, Texans at Ravens, Bengals at Browns, 49ers at Steelers, Jaguars at Colts, Raiders at Broncos, Dolphins at Chargers, and Eagles at Patriots. And something I just learned, don't write notes in my own short form because then when I go to read them live on air, I forget what my short forms were and I stutter through it. But we'll get through it. Before we get into it, let's introduce everyone. We will start with Jesse Moeller. Jesse, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I very much appreciate the time to take out of it. As you can see, I'm at a clinic right now, so it's making use of my time the best I can. But
well, that's the first time. I'm gonna have to work on that. That's the first time I've got to introduce you as not just a guest on my show because you are now a co-star. So you are not joining me. You are just on the freaking show. So thank you for joining us today on our show. And next up we have Jeremy, who is also one of my newest co-stars. Thanks for Jeremy joining. I can't talk. It's a rough start. Hey guys, thanks for joining me, Jeremy. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going, man. It's damn near 90 degrees here in Amsterdam, which is not normal. I'm not used to it, so sweating my ass off today. But we're making it through. But I will say to Jesse may be in a clinic, but he's about to put on a clinic in this pod. So I think we're all ready to go.
Yeah, we're the lab rat pack, as you said earlier. But it's funny. I'm in Canada, and I swear we hit mid 90s yesterday. It was something else, but now it's pouring rain, so I don't mind.
There you go.
So I guess let's get right into it. The first game we're going to start with is Lions at Chiefs, where the Chiefs are favored by 4.5. Let's start with the most important thing, the health of Travis Kelce. It looks like he is probably going to be missing this one up to 2 or 3 weeks, it's saying. I have him listed here on the roster of the starting lineup, but obviously that's not going to be the case. But I just thought it warranted mentioning. I kept him in the lineup because I didn't want to just sub in. I'm drawing a blank now.
Don't worry about that.
Noah Gray. Thank you. That was my point.
You're good. Keep drawing the blank, Aaron. Keep drawing the blank.
No, but that was my point. Yeah. This is where you want to draw a blank. I see so many people who just said, "Oh, I drafted Kelce. They picked up Noah Gray, and they're just subbing him in like this is a 1-for-1." Noah Gray is not the play this week. So what do you guys think about Kelce's injury overall, and what are your thoughts on Noah Gray as it pertains to him being useful for week 1?
I know.
Go ahead.
I know Jesse and I both had draft last night. So, for myself, Kelce didn't fall much at all. He was still a first-round pick. There was still some kind of ambiguity about what was going to happen with this situation. But, if he's missing 2, 3, maybe potentially even 4 games, and if he comes back maybe a little bit too soon and isn't himself for those first couple games back, needs to find his footing. Yeah, he's not kind of that first-round pick that we wanted him to be. But, of course, when Kelce's in the game and he's playing, you're going to play him. As for this week with the Lions, I don't see, like we said, I don't see a need to play Noah Gray. I'm looking elsewhere on the Chiefs for that production. If a tight end or Gray, I don't know, who else do they even have on there? I mean,
Bell or something, yeah.
Hell yeah, there's Bell.
Is Demetrius Harris still on the team? I don't know, but it doesn't matter, right? We were all kind of Kelsey or bust preseason, and right now, I think now that Kelsey's busted, we're going to go elsewhere. I'm looking at the running backs and wide receivers here.
Yeah, that's the way to look at it, if you ask me. If you're gonna start Noah Gray, you're just asking for pain. And like I know a lot of us in the fantasy space are masochists. We like to deal with the misery, but that's too much. Don't do it. Just why? I would much rather target the other options. I think a sneaky play actually this week is CEH because that wide receiver room is a complete bag of mystery. Like maybe Rashee Rice has a role, we don't know. They got Tony, he's never healthy, he never plays. So you're counting on Sky Moore, but last year he pretty much did nothing. So it's like you have Sky Moore, you have Justin Watson, you have these guys that it's a bag of mystery. So you want Mahomes, he's still going to be involved. The Lions can't stop anybody still, so that's a mystery. So maybe they pull together, but the Chiefs' offense is too good. So you still want pieces of that offense. CEH is dirt cheap. You can go McKinnon. Those guys are going to be receiving options. And then there's also Pacheco. So if you want to bet on Pacheco finding his way in the end zone, fully on board with that. Outside of that, like I don't really want to start the Chiefs.
That was my next question. Who's someone you guys find interesting? How about you, Jeremy? Who's someone you're interested in seeing in this matchup besides, Mahomes, the obvious stud?
I want to see more. I want to see if all the hype is real. Is he going to play a full Sky Moore? Is he going to?
No, I got it. I got it. We were going to do the whole bit. Come on, you see more what? You can't have any if you have. How you can have more if you haven't had any to start? Come on, you haven't seen the Sandlot?
Who's on first?
First I want some more. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to see Sky Moore and see if he's really progressed the way that he's been talked up throughout camp. And I'll play him. I'm willing to play him. As for the rest of the receivers, like Jesse said, I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole. But Kadarius Toney continues to be interesting to me. If he can somehow do something in this game, we still don't know how hurt he is. We still don't know what his role is on this team. He still, despite being there for nearly a year, probably doesn't have a rapport with Patrick Mahomes yet. I want to see what KT can do and if they can actually utilize him properly so he's useful for fantasy.
All right, we'll end this matchup with some rankings. We're going to, for the purposes of these, we'll just say half PPR, kind of hedge your bets. If you had to rank the five running backs in this, how do you order them, the five? Gibbs, Montgomery, Pacheco, McKinnon, and CEH. Jesse.
So that's basically the order, except I'm flipping CEH and McKinnon. CEH has had a role in the receiving game, like through preseason and stuff like that. So I'm going to bet on CEH over McKinnon just because it seems like he's having a role. But yeah, it's the Lions running backs, Gibbs, Montgomery, and then Pacheco, likely he'll fall into the end zone. I'll bet on that. And then it's whichever of the two running backs you want to target out of the backfield for Kansas City.
Same for you, Jeremy?
I'm a huge Monty fan. I think, as you know, Gibbs and Monty, over those guys. And then really just Pacheco, McKinnon, CEH, who knows what's going to happen there. But Gibbs, Monty, Pacheco for sure, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, how about the five receivers? And I said five because, actually it's six because there's four on here, but we're going to exclude Amon-Ra St. Brown because I think we'd all agree he's the easy choice here. How about you, Jeremy? What are your six receivers here? How do you order them?
Well, if AR
the only good ones
table,
out,
I don't want anything to do with the pass catchers in Detroit. Maybe Laporta, right? But if we're just talking about,
sorry, I have a mistake here. I meant to take someone out and put in Khalif Raymond, and I put Marvin Jones in twice. So we only have five receivers here because I put the same guy in twice. I like Marvin Jones. I liked him so much he's on here twice. So that's supposed to be Khalif Raymond, but I had a typo.
That doesn't sound like a mistake. I mean, we can put in two Marvin Jones, probably equals one Khalif Raymond. Although he's had his spurts for sure. So outside of St. Brown, more MVS, Tony, I don't know. Give me a Chief shot in the dark, and maybe Josh Reynolds, just vomit all over the
So what we're saying is, if you don't have St. Brown, you either throw a flex dart on one of the Chiefs, or you stay clear of the wide receivers, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Could lead to some early drinking with those choices. Let me tell you.
They are ugly. All right, we will get into our first prop corner for this game of the season. Prop corners, we are going to be using Sleeper, where you can go to Sleeper and get a up to $100 deposit match using code FFLW for the Fantasy Football League winners. So for that, our first prop, we're going to be doing Patrick Mahomes, 265.5 passing yards. Over under for Jesse.
Over. It's the highest scoring over under of the week. It's like 54.5. So there's going to be offense in this game. And realistically, without Chris Jones, like the Chiefs' defensive line is going to be trouble. So the Lions are going to run all over them. Like, that's how they're going to dominate that. So I expect it to be back and forth, and I expect Mahomes still to get over that number. It's just you don't know as far as the receivers who you want to bet on, but I'm expecting Mahomes to go over that number.
How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I think he'll get over that number as well. I think we were talking earlier, and I thought I heard you say 280. That would have been maybe a bit of a stretch, but 265 for me is a slam dunk. We know Mahomes is going to throw for 5,000 again this year, so just do the math. Yeah, bet the over.
Yeah, you did hear me correct, but I'm illiterate, and I said 265 when it was 285, but we'll go with 265, which makes it an easy over for all of us, but I'll have to work during the show. I'll have to work on my ability to read. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, do what we can.
The early afternoon beer is helping. Eh? All right, let us move on to our next game here. Hopefully it goes a little smoother. There we go. That would be the Houston Texans at Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 10. Anything you guys are looking at here? Any major storylines or headlines that you're monitoring? Something that really interests you? Jeremy, you want to start?
I love Zay Flowers. I've been on Zay all offseason. Odell Beckham doesn't necessarily scare me. Bateman's still injured. Mark Andrews is still injured. I'm really hoping for and not counting on, but almost expecting Zay to come out and be maybe not hyper productive in week one, but impressive, and just kind of start to build, throughout the season and become a dominant rookie wide receiver this year.
I know Andrews missed practice most of the week, but it looks like he's back. So I'm assuming he is going to play this week. Anybody concerned that he might not play? I think he's in.
If he doesn't play, they have the one true backup tight end you can just throw in, Isaiah Likely. Like you throw him in, he's going to produce. It's the one guy in fantasy that works out for. Usually you put a backup tight end, it's just a disaster. But Likely's good. So if Andrews does miss it, like I'll just basically treat him like I would Andrew. Be a top 5 tight end, and play him and just run him in.
All right, Jesse, who's the player you find most interesting in this matchup?
It's Dobbins, and if he's finally going to see passing work. They've been talking about it all offseason with the new whole offensive scheme. They're changing it around with Lamar. They're trying to pass more. Can Dobbins finally get some receiving work? Because if he can, he has high-end upside. If he doesn't, he's going to be that middling RB2 who's kind of touchdown dependent. I mean, they're gonna ground and pound Houston to death in this game. It's gonna be likely a blowout. So if they do it early on, you see how Valdi is, and you kind of build off of that. On the flip side, I'm curious if Nico Collins can be that official wide receiver 1 for Houston now that he has a good quarterback in CJ Stroud. So I kind of want to see that pairing. And then lastly, is Dameon Pierce going to see all the volume? Because the way they used him in preseason, he was like a true bell cow. So if that holds true, like you're going to get significant value from all 3 of those guys with the Houston offense this year.
I think Jeremy's going to have the same answer as me. What's the most interesting player you're looking forward to seeing, Jeremy?
In terms of, we just talked about Zay, but in terms of
that's who I was thinking. Zay.
Yeah, in terms of the Texans, I'm interested in Schultz. I just want to see. We all think he's this mediocre tight end who just saw high volume, and the eyeball test stats tend to kind of back up those assumptions. But is he going to be a safety blanket for CJ Stroud? Is he going to be more incorporated into the offense similarly to how he was in Dallas? This wide receiver room is not much to overcome. It's possible he volumes his way to another big season again. And I think we'll know right out of the gate if that's going to happen.
All right, I think this warrants further explanation to everyone before I get. You ever see the FFT show where they have an ongoing skit where it looks like Dan Schneider is broadcasting from his bathroom? Just so everyone knows, Jesse is not broadcasting from the emergency room. I don't know. You want to take a second to explain that before we get Twitter comments saying why the hell is Jesse broadcasting from the ER? He is not. Please explain.
I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been a type 1 diabetic for the past 20-something years. I go to the local clinic where they do diabetic studies. Right now, I have sensors inserted in my body. I have these long days where I spend 8+ hours like in this chair just hanging out in the clinic where they take my blood every 15 minutes. So it's part of the study process. So yes, I'm not in the emergency room. Nothing's going wrong, but we're just having a test day today. So yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Well, thank you. Sorry to get personal there. I just didn't want to get those comments saying why the hell is he in the emergency room? Because you can really see with the blurred background, but when that nurse behind you walked by, you could totally see you were in a hospital. Oh, there she is.
Yep, right there. Yep.
The real reason, though, Jesse's being modest, the real reason is because the Seahawks offseason gave him heart palpitations and has him thinking Super Bowl. So.
Couldn't take it. I was like, I'm too excited. Let's go, baby.
All right, let's get back into this game. The 4 running backs, let's rank them. For me, it is Dobbins, Pierce, Singletary, Edwards. Anybody disagree with that?
Nope.
I'll flip Singletary and Edwards. It doesn't really matter, but he's done it before. So I'll just go Edwards on his current and former team as opposed to Singletary in a new spot.
And I'd like to rank the receivers here, but I'm going to do it team by team since I think they're hard enough to rank on their own team. For me, I have Collins, Dell, Mechie, Woods, and then I have Flowers, Bateman, Beckham. What do you guys think?
So I got it flipped with Houston. I have it Collins, Woods, because Woods was basically he sat out because he was a starter like basically the whole preseason. So I have Collins, Woods, Tank Dell, and then Mechie. He's just been a mystery box, so I'll put him fourth. And then with Baltimore, I'm going to go Zay, Bateman, Odell, and then the mystery bag of whoever else is on Baltimore Ravens offense.
I'm same with Jesse in Houston. So that's Collins, Woods, Dell, and Mechie. I'd like to see Mechie thrive, but we'll have to see. In Baltimore, I have Zay, but I don't have faith in Odell completely. But I am going to take him certainly in week 1 over Bateman. Who knows what his health situation still is.
All right. Do we have a sit and a start from this game? Anybody you're avoiding? Anyone you really want to target?
Start Dobbins.
Me too. That was my start, Dobbins.
That's a good call.
My sit, I think, is Bateman.
Yeah, I don't want to start him or OBJ. Like if I'm depending either one of those guys, I'm just benching. Like I don't want to deal with that. That's just you're basically counting on a touchdown early from those. So not just out. And honestly,
I'd also say start Andrews, even if he's kind of questionable going in. If there's a chance he plays, I think you're going to want to start him over, almost every other option you have.
Yeah, I would say bench Schultz, but like the tight end position kind of sucks. So if you drafted him, you're pretty much starting him. So you can't really bench him.
True.
The prop for this one, we will be doing Lamar Jackson passing touchdowns, 1.5 over under Jeremy.
Over. Again, if Andrew sits, it's going to be questionable. We know Lamar can do it, get it done, and punch in the end zone with his legs. But I think they're just going to jump all over him early. And even if they're up big, maybe early in the second half on Houston, we're still going to be looking at a situation where Monken wants to kind of test out what's going on with his new offense. So I think Lamar gets at least 2 passing touchdowns.
That one's such a mystery for me.
Jesse?
If it was total touchdowns, like I'd smash it. I'm gonna go under.
Oh yeah, that's easy if it's total touchdowns.
Right. I'm gonna go under. I expect them to get more on the ground, and I'll expect Lamar to run one in. So I just don't think they're gonna get a bunch of touchdowns. So
I took under as well. All right, let's move on to our next game. We have the Bengals favored by 2.5 at the Browns. Jesse, what are you looking at in this game? Is there anything really that's interesting to you here?
Yeah, Nick Chubb, and is he finally going to get that receiving work we've been pining for 6 years at this point with him? Because he's one of the best backs in the league. So if he gets that, yeah, exactly right. But he's being drafted as if it's going to happen. So, maybe it happens. Also, David Njoku How involved is he going to be? Because you have him, Elijah Moore competing for like the second pass catching offense in that offense. So who wins out there? It'll be very interesting to see, and that could be matchup dependent. So in this matchup, I would more bet on Njoku than I would Elijah Moore, but I know people love Elijah Moore.
I kind of find the Bengals side to be boring, but you're right. I don't know if it's Ford or Pierre Strong, but someone's going to ruin the pass catching role. You just know it. And this Browns wide receiver room, like I only put 10 per team. I even thought Cedric Tillman had a chance to have a role here. So that's another interesting one. The only thing I'm looking at on the Bengals side is who's going to mix in, whether it be Travion Williams, Chris Evans, or Chase Brown, who's going to be the number 2 behind Mixon? Because they could be fantasy relevant with his injury history and his pending legal activities. So you never know. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think will be the backup there?
I'm honestly not sure. I think it's Williams, but he's been dealing with injury too. So I need to double check on who it is. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I was going to say the same thing in terms of what I'm interested on the Bengals side. We kind of know what the passing game looks like. Irv Smith probably won't have a huge role, so it's just the top 2 wideouts. So what's going to happen with the RB2 position? And, in addition to kind of stealing that, you crushed a pun by saying who's going to mix in under Mixon, and we totally ignored it. So, we need to improve on all levels in week 2, Aaron.
We do. Yes, we do. We'll get after it next time, and we'll make sure we don't fuck that up.
Too funny.
It happens. All right. As far as let's look at some of these guys here. The receivers in Cleveland. I'm going to include 4. One that's not on the screen. So. Well, actually, you know what? We agree Cooper's the easy number 1, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Eli Moore, DPJ, and Cedric Tillman. Where do you guys see those as 2, 3, 4?
Moore and who cares?
Tillman? Moore and who cares? Actually, it could be who cares and who cares, but that's how I see it.
DPJ wasn't bad last year for them, so it's how much of that role Elijah Moore is taking over. Like, he's going to be the slot wide receiver in the offense, so it just depends on how many targets he earns. Because DPJ likely turns into that deep threat in the offense now that they have Elijah Moore and they can push him down the field. So, he's going to be boom bust. Moore's probably the much safer play. So 2, Elijah, DPJ, 3, like I'd rather have him best ball. And 4, Cedric Tillman, sure.
Is everyone okay there, Jesse?
Yeah, you got someone scratching their nails on a chalkboard behind you? What the hell is that?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Holy shit. Okay, how about the tight ends here? I assume we're all taking Njoku over Irv Smith?
Yes.
Yeah, by landslide, yeah.
Do we have anyone on the Bengals that we think is fantasy relevant besides the big 4 of Burrow, Mixon, Chase Higgins?
No.
Boyd, maybe? In the
just a random,
injury?
Random touchdown for one of the other guys is like how
exactly.
Irv Smith, boomer bust, touchdown dependent tight end, but could be a top 5 tight end because how low the bar is. But
right.
All right, we need a sit and a start from this game. Anybody?
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start Nick Chubb. Like, that's a smash play. I'm curious to see how the Bengals defense is. I'm actually going to sit David Njoku. I am not 100% confident that he's going to get in the end zone, and I want to see his work go. So I'm a little skeptical on Njoku in week
1. Do we have the over under on this game in front of us? Because I might take the
I have the spread, but I don't have the over under.
I'll pull it up.
I can look it up. Oh, you can pull it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these defenses are much improved. Jim Schwartz.
47 and a half total.
I think the third highest.
Third highest. Still, yeah, I think I'd take the under. I think, they're improved defenses. It's week 1. You never know what to expect. And, this may become the Chubb Mixon show. Except for a couple of big plays. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, got to start Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper, the big guns. That's about it.
Yeah. I think I want to start Nick Chubb and then bench every other Brown. I do not like Deshaun Watson at all, and I've been stashing Dorian Thompson-Robinson everywhere. He's looked terrible. preseason last year, he just looks like garbage. So
yeah, we were talking about this in off screen, but I'd rather start Goff this week than I would Watson, just because I need to see it from Watson in week 1. Like I'm skeptical, and he's projected for higher across every fantasy site, but I'm skeptical.
I think I might start Goff most weeks over him. That one's not even close.
Yeah, I haven't been skeptical, but I agree. We need to see it.
All right, and the prop for this one would be Joe Mixon over under 56.5 rushing yards.
That is gonna be really close where he hits. I will go over, but just slightly over. Like it's gonna be 58. I would imagine where he hits.
Yeah, his value is going to come with putting one in the end zone. So I don't think he's going to go crazy, but yeah, I'll go over as well.
I'm also going to take over, but I think the Bengals are going to run away with this one. So he might just get some garbage time production here. All righty, let us move on to the next game. That would be 49ers by 2.5 at the Steelers. I guess the most relevant thing to discuss here is Brock Purdy. I have him listed, but this is the only game where I included a second quarterback because I'm not 100% sure Brock Purdy's starting. I've always said there's no chance he should be starting this week. And if you've seen the way he's thrown, there's no way he looks ready. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't understand it. What are your thoughts on the Purdy situation here?
He's playing. Like Kyle Shanahan's been pretty bullish on him the entire offseason, which is weird, even though he's dealing with the injury. Like he's Kyle's guy, you can tell. So he's going to play until he can't. Like if an injury happens or prevents him, but even if he struggles, he's going to stay with him. So
he wasn't very good to start.
Yeah, so it's just I don't know. They have a lot of faith in him. I'm not with them on that, but that's Kyle Shanahan. He's his guy, so he's going to ride with them. And he's just got the best skill position talent in the league. So realistically, the floor is just high for him. And
where would you rank him this week?
Purdy, he's like QB. I think he's like QB 18 for me this week, like in that range, like 18 to 20, those kind of guys.
Jeremy?
Tinkering.
Yeah, against the Steelers, I don't expect him to put up massive numbers, but then again, Brock Purdy is not a field stretcher anyway, right? Shanahan is hopefully not going to, destroy Deebo Samuel's fantasy value again this season with like a negative, yards per target or whatever the stat is there. But I think everything's going to be relatively close to the line of scrimmage. But with McCaffrey, Deebo, and a few nice shots to Ayuk, it won't matter that Kittle's in there. Purdy will have a decent day.
This has CMC smash spot written all over it, if you ask me. I just think he crushes it. And I know I was discussing yesterday my sit-start column, and after drafting Steelers all offseason, the theme of my week 1 sit-start was pretty much sit everyone on the Steelers because the 49ers are a terrible matchup for everyone. So is there anyone on the Steelers you do feel comfortable? I mean, obviously there's going to be situations, if Deontay's your second or third drafted wide receiver, you're going to play him even in a shitty matchup. But is there anyone you really do like on the Steelers, Jeremy, this week?
Not really. I'm kind of fading Freiermuth this entire season. I'm just not completely buying the Kenny Pickett is putting it all together and is amazing. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens will get theirs. Freiermuth at best is the third target on this offense, and that's if you don't consider the checkdowns going to the running backs. So, no, I mean Deontay, yeah, I'll start him. Harris, you'll throw him in there probably because you have to. But Pickett, Freiermuth, Pickens, no thanks.
Does anybody think Darnell Washington is going to actually be a thing, or is he just a glorified lineman? No,
he'll have some plays, but he's just a lineman pretty much. Like he might limit the touchdowns for Farm. He's such a big giant person. They're like throw it to the guy that's 6'7", 260. Like it makes sense, right, in the end zone. But he's not going to do much. All right,
Purdy or Pickett?
Pickett.
Purdy.
I think I go Pickett too, but
it's close.
All right. We'll have McCaffrey at number 1. So then Eli Mitchell, Najee, or Jaylen Warren.
With Elijah Mitchell has been healthy like the entire offseason, so who knows how like involved he's going to be. So he's actually gonna be my number 4 of the guys. I'm just not sure like how much they're going to use him in week 1. They might just substitute TDP or the other guys on there, right? So I would have it CMC, Najee. I would take Jalen Warren because he's going to see some work too. And then I'll take Elijah.
Yeah, I agree with that order. Najee's the 2, but he's a distant 2. I think he gets the volume, but Warren's likely more explosive, and they probably end up with similar stats at the end of the day with Warren being more efficient.
I think I have Najee and Warren as 2A, 2B here. I think they're probably going to have similar outputs in completely different roles. All right, wide receiver is where it gets interesting. Debo, Ayuk, Deontay, and Pickens. For me, I think I go, Ayuk, Debo, Deontay, Pickens off the top of my head.
Ayuk, Deontay, Debo, Pickens. I'm just completely out on Debo. I don't care that he's in better shape this season. Give me Ayuk and Deontay and no one else really.
Flip Debo and Ayuk for me, just because like Debo was heavily involved. Just the way that offense works, he's going to be involved. So I know people love Ayuk, like he's a really good player. I just worry about his ceiling case. It's kind of the whole 49ers offense besides McCaffrey. They all kind of limit each other. But I take Debo, Deontay. Those guys are back-to-back. Ayuk's a little bit lower, and then Pickens. Pickens is just doing deep shots and stuff like that.
I would like to sit Najee and start Ayuk. How about you guys? Jesse?
If we're taking out McCaffrey, I'm gonna start.
Yeah, we're assuming he's a start. So
yeah, okay. I'm gonna start Debo. I'll actually bench Pickens, and I don't really want to start Ayuk unless I have to start him.
I'm starting Deontay, and I'm sitting Freiermuth.
All righty. The prop for this one, if I can get it up, is Brock Purdy passing yards over under 213.5. Anybody want to take a crack at it?
These prop values are pretty dead on.
Well, I took them directly from Sleeper, where you can use our League Winners promo code FFLW to get an up to $100 deposit match up there in the corner, way up there. It only works when you do it, Jeremy. You're the one under. It only works when you point. I just look like I'm dancing like an idiot.
Just smash it.
Yeah, smash it. There you go.
I'm going to give this one to Jesse first, only because I want to check on something real quick.
So I'm going to 213 doesn't seem like a lot, but they're likely not going to pass
Brock Purdy, it does.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take the over, but it's just slightly over. I'll expect him to be in like the 225 range, so I'll take him comfortably beating it. But, they could just dominate on the run, and he ends up with 180 passing yards.
I'm curious about how many times.
Have you completed your research?
I'm curious how many times Purdy has gone over 213 yards.
Well, how many games did he start last year?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the playoffs. 7, 8.
Yeah, it was probably 50-50. You're right.
Let's call it 8 games. It's about 50-50, but he's hovering right around the line. I'll go over just because I believe in Shanahan and the offense.
Yeah, I also think Pittsburgh's going to score a good amount too, so that's why.
I took the under just because I'm not 100% confident that Brock Purdy finishes this game. I don't think that arm can be ready, and I don't think he's any good. I think this is a CMC game, but that's just me. So let us move on to our next game. We have Jaguars at Colts. Jags by 5.5. The interesting thing here, we have a lot on we got a lot all over. I have JT in this, but obviously he's not going to be in, but I didn't want to exclude him because he needs to be talked about. So we have some interesting stuff going on in the Colts running back room. We've got the first game as a Jag for Christian Kirk, and we also have the NFL debut of Anthony Richardson. Jesse, which of those 3 topics would you like to start with? We got to cover them all.
Yeah, as tempting as the Ridley topic is, that's been talked about enough. So I'll jump to something else. I'll talk about one of my favorites, like rookies and Anthony Richardson, and how it's going to go in week 1. It's a complete crapshoot. Like he could be the guy we think he is both ways, where if he's on the ground running and guys that offense and he looks productive, like that's a win. Or on the flip side, they could get behind by a lot because they're going against the Jags, a completely better team. Like they're overmatched in a lot of spots. So they could get behind early and you could force things and cause some turnovers. So it goes both ways, but I'm just going to bet on the talent of Richardson to run and get those yards.
All right. Well, let's see what Jeremy has to say because I think Jesse's about to be interrupted by a nurse.
Well, you got to get I was going to say, you got to get the nurse's pick. Jags or Colts for sure.
Yeah. What's her prop bet?
Rich for me. That Jags secondary is still terrible. He's going to have to throw it for them to compete. I'm a believer, but the first ever NFL game, I'm not going to bet on it. We're looking at him just producing with his legs. He'll do enough for fantasy where I won't sit him, but I'm not expecting a super smash game. I do want to talk about Calvin Ridley. He is my number one. I have no clue why people are fading this man. I think it's now was up to the third round in one quarterback redraft leagues. Yeah,
he's going around too.
And he just, do not fade this man. Start him immediately against a terrible Indy secondary. He's going to get in the end zone. He's going to approach double-digit targets in his first game. Huge Calvin Ridley opener. Do not sit this man.
177.
Okay, so the Colts backfield, who do we think is going to get the most action, Evan Hull or Deion Jackson? I'm just going to completely pretend you never mentioned Calvin Ridley and move on.
I know.
It's Evan. Yeah.
I'll go Jackson, but I don't care.
That was my response to Calvin Ridley.
I'll start Jackson in a pinch if I have to, but yeah, I'm not looking to rely on anybody really here, including Pittman.
All right, pass catchers. Let's rank Ridley, Kirk, Pittman, Pierce, Downs. So I assume Pierce and Downs are the last two for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, and St. Jones. I forgot St. Jones.
Yeah, here you go.
So how do you guys rank the six of them then?
Yeah, Ridley, Kirk, Pittman. I agree. I go Pierce in case he has a boom. Then I'll probably go Downs. Maybe he gets some, short ones. So same as you and Zay.
Yeah, I'll take Zay ahead of Downs just because he's playing the slot role for them. And I don't know how often they're going to be running 3 wide receiver sets. Like, that's what I'm curious about with Indy to see, because they're bringing over Steichen and they're going to be running a lot of RPOs. And in that, when they're running the RPOs, it's a lot of first looks. Like, those guys get the targets. So unless Downs is that guy, I just don't expect him to be very relevant this year, honestly. So
this is concerning from another game. Both Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs do not practice today.
Yeah, so
we'll get back to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I just bet on the Jaguars offense in this game. Like, they could just absolutely just blow the doors off of Indy. So it could be one of those where it's like 34-13, like halfway through the game, right? It could be like that. So
I'll start Tank in a pinch as well.
Yeah, if you're running that 0 RB lifestyle, there's worse spells to start. So yeah.
Do we have a sit and a start from this game?
Yeah, I'll sit Pittman. I don't want to bet on him week 1 with Richardson. Like, I love Richardson's talent, but that's just a question mark that I don't want to deal with in week 1. So hopefully you have better options. And then besides Ridley, I'm going to start Kirk. Like, I'm confident in those two in that offense. So I'll start Kirk as my wide receiver 2 this week.
Yep, agree. And Jags running backs, I'll start both of them. Etienne for sure, Bigsby if I have to. The rest are kind of smashes. Ingram's fine. But yeah, pretty much fading everyone outside of Richardson, who's kind of neutral for me in this game.
I would like to sit Anthony Richardson. Who am I starting? Tank Bigsby I like. Etienne probably. And I'd like to sit a lot of these players with the exception of Trevor Lawrence. I don't like anyone on the Colts side of this. This is going to be a messy year. I could see the Colts ending up with a number 1 pick. The Jags I like, but I don't have many of them. I found a lot of them went too high for me. But I'm not sitting really any of the Jags. Calvin Ridley. But, I mean, the rest of them aren't too bad.
The hate, let the hate flow through you, Aaron.
Yes, I will. The prop on this one is an interesting one. Anthony Richardson, over or under 56.5 rushing yards. Have fun with that.
Smash the over.
They're going to be chasing a lot. He's going to have to run. Like, realistically, how it's going to work out. So it might be a dreadful passing game, but I expect him to get the over on the rest.
He has to. And the Jags defense is not great. Like they have a couple of decent linebackers, but outside of that, they're just a mess on that side of the ball. Richardson's going to run all over them, and like Jesse said, because he has to.
Oh, I find that one disappointing. There was no lineup for that game yet. On Sleeper, there is no no props yet for that game. So I made the Richardson line myself, and I thought I picked it high enough that it would be tougher. Like 65, like if he goes 65 yards per game, that breaks the NFL quarterback rushing record. So 9 yards less, and it's a smash over in his first game. Good Lord, I thought that would be a tougher decision, guys. I took the over as well, but wow, I made that line thinking I'd be taking the sneaky over. Nope, apparently I'm taking the slam dunk over.
There's a smash button on the logo.
Yeah, where is that? Let's smash that one again up in the logo for the FFLW promo code to get a $100 deposit match on Sleeper from the league winners. For all of us, the only problem is, though, we were unanimous in agreeing on the over, which means it's going to be 25 rushing yards. So
yeah, probably.
We move on to the Raiders at the Broncos. Broncos by 3.5. There is all sorts of interesting stuff here. I guess we'll start with Javonte Williams. Do we think he's ready? What do we see as his role for week 1 here? Who wants to take over?
He'll have a role for sure. They're going to want to get his feet wet, especially against the Raiders, who are just a complete dumpster fire this season. I mean, Chandler Jones is I don't know if you saw that blurb come in a little bit earlier today, but he's got personal reasons, and he's not in the facility. So, I mean, Josh
that's offensive to dumpster fires.
Josh McDaniels is driving this yet another team into the ground. And yeah, Javonte's going to get out there. I think he'll do well, but I think they'll limit him as well. P. Ryan for me is a start if I need to, because I think he'll have a substantial amount of looks in this game.
I want to mention the third option that, like I said, I can only pick 10 per team. I don't want to have the whole screen, but the other running back there, Jaleel McLaughlin, apparently had a pretty good role in training camps. I think he's kind of sneaky there. He's someone I don't know. I'm definitely not starting him. He's kind of a stash. I want to see just in case, maybe Javonte's not as healthy as we think, and maybe they realize P. Ryan's 100. So I'd like to stash McLaughlin there. However the hell you say it.
Yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin. Yeah.
What do you think here, Jesse?
I'm on Team Javonte. I've been on Team Javonte ever since his ADP drifts into the 8th round. I was like, what are we doing here, folks? The upside is vastly like far exceeds that. And he's been healthy. Like, he's been healthier than Brees throughout the entire offseason, which was my biggest concern coming in. But I mean, I'm buying into what they're saying. So I'm all aboard Javonte. I'm starting him this week. He might see not like a substantial role, but he'll see a decent role. And like against those Raiders off of defense, like he's going to put up points.
The receivers here. Do we have word? Is Judy officially out yet? Has he been ruled out? It doesn't look good.
I don't think so. I think I saw questionable this morning. So
okay, I'm assuming he's not going to play for a couple weeks, but okay, assuming he is going to play, since we don't have official word, let's rank the 6 receivers. Jesse, you want to fire away?
It's Devontae Adams by far at the top. Like, it's not even close. Yeah. It's Devontae. If Judy plays, I guess you got to go with him. Then I'm going to actually take Jacoby. I'm going to take Sutton, Mims, and then we're just going to take whoever the 6th guy is, which I can't figure out. Renfro, that's the other guy. He's 6. Renfro will be 6.
I'll throw the dart on Sutton, so we'll go Adams clear 1 again. Agree with that. I'll go Sutton, Mims 2, 3. Even if Judy plays, how effective is he going to be? So we'll go Judy 4 at the bottom of that list. Jacoby, Renfro. Yeah, I don't want anyone aside from Adams in that Broncos passing game. And I'm curious to see what goes on with Moeller and how useful he is for fantasy, or if he's just going to be blocking, 70 plays a game for Josh Jacobs, running up the gut.
Right.
I'm going to go Devontae Adams. Then I'm going to go crazy here and go Mims, Judy, Sutton. Flip-flop those if Judy's out, obviously, with probably Myers, whatever the hell, and Renfro. Okay, so since you brought up tight end, how do we rank this here? We've got Cooper, Moeller, Dulcich, Troutman. I'm going with, call me crazy, because I know I'm a Saints fan and I know how much Sean Payton loves him. I'm going Troutman, Dulcich, Mayer, Hooper.
I was going to do the exact same thing, but except I'll flip Hooper and Mayer. Hooper
I
just
considered
needs to
that.
get targets. So, but yeah, unfortunately, and I'm massively into Dulcich and invested in him in Dynasty. But yeah, Sean Payton is a different animal. He likes his guys, and Adam Troutman is his guy. I don't get it, but Troutman won.
So he's going to be a field a lot on blocking because they're going to run more this year. So like he's going to be heavily involved. The way I've seen, they're still using Dulcich in the receiving game, which is all that really matters. It might limit his ceiling case, but I'm still going to take him over Troutman just because we know Troutman sucks as a receiver. Like we have 4 years of data on him. So I'm going to take the upside shot with Dulcich because he was a good receiver last year, and he gets those routes. And if he gets the routes, like he'll just be more effective. I will take Hooper second. I'll go Troutman third, and then Mayer. I'm more concerned about the rookie tight end with the Raiders. I just don't know how that's going to shake out. It could be a while before he gets all those routes and runs them. So Hooper is just going to be a pain in the butt for Mayer. Just the way I look at it early on.
I do. I was thinking that, with Judy out, Dulcich could have maybe a slightly different role, step into a little bit of that Judy role. Because Mims can't do it all, certainly in his first NFL game. So, if Judy sits, Dulcich might be interesting.
Yep.
Jacobs hands down over Javonte?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pick us a sit and a start from this game. I would like to sit Javonte until we know more, and I think I want to start. Josh Jacobs is too much of a slam dunk, I think, so I'm going to start Marvin Mims.
Yeah, I'll start Mims too, and I am going to sit everyone that's not Jacobs or Adams on the Raiders. I don't want anything to do with that, including Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care if you're in a super flex league. Just sit that man. There's no reason. There's no reason. He's your QB3, and you leave him there. It's going to be ugly all season in Las Vegas.
And we didn't even talk about the big bang mystery that is Russell Wilson this year in that new offense, right? And that's going to wholly dictate the entire offense. But I'm going to start Javonte. I'm sitting Judy with that injury. Like, I know I ranked him higher, but, like, I don't want to start him. Like, if I don't have to, I'm just going to bench him. We'll let that see how it plays out.
Agreed.
All right. Where do we have the quarterbacks? Russell Wilson in the 15 to 18 range and Jimmy G low quarterback too. 20.
Yeah, he's like 20,
very low.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, he's 20. He's hanging on to quarterback too.
For Jimmy G, are we starting Stroud and Bryce Young over Jimmy?
I am.
Might as well.
Yeah, and Russell Wilson, I assume we're starting all of Rodgers, Goff, Geno, Richardson over Wilson.
Yeah, he's going to be that tier below those guys. When you start getting into that QB 16,
Derek Carr?
18, yeah, I'll play him over Derek Carr. Like, I don't trust Derek Carr at all.
Who are the Saints playing again?
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll start him over Derek. Ooh.
I don't like either of them. All right, the prop for this one is Devontae Adams receiving touchdowns over under half a touchdown.
Oh.
I'll take it.
He's got to score a touchdown, right? I mean, he has to for this team to have any chance. So,
yeah, I'll take it. He's the entire passing offense, so yeah, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. All right. So that one we have a unanimous bet on the over. So what we can confirm is that Devontae Adams will not score in week 1, just so everyone knows. Take it to the bank, smash that FFLW up there for the promo code on Sleeper when you bet against us for Devontae Adams to score.
It gets 3 receptions for 20 yards,
yeah, exactly. The next one we have, excuse me, guys. We have Dolphins at Chargers by 3.5. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
By 3.5. Is this the highest over under, or is that KC?
It's the KC. I think this one's
KC. I don't have it on me. I have it just. No, one sec. I got it right here. It's on my
51. Phone. I'm looking at it right now.
52.5. The Lions are up to 52.5. This game is at 50.5. So this is the second highest over under of the week by a considerable amount. The Cincy game was third, and it's like 4 points less. Low scoring.
This one's going to be fun.
All right, so what are some of the headlines we've got here? I guess we could start with the Miami backfield. Mostert, who I had tons of shares of in the 14th and 15th round, looks great. A-Chain still nursing a shoulder injury, and Jeff Wilson is on IR. They added someone else to this backfield, but I can't remember one of the 9 back. Or no, they didn't. They still have. Who is there?
Brooks.
Who is there?
Chris Brooks is the rookie. I don't know if he was the UDFA or not. And then Ahmed, I think, is still hurt as well, right?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
You think A-Chain plays?
I think he's going to play a role. Like all reports I've read is that he's better off than we thought it was going to be because it seemed like it was pretty significant. But the last couple of weeks he's been healing. He's getting on the field. So I think he's going to play a role. I think he's going to maybe limit Mostert. Obviously, I'm starting Mostert over him in week 1. But I don't really want to, I'm not super confident. So if I'm doing running backs in this game, it's by far Eckler and then Mostert, A-Chain. And you could go Kelly if you really want. But yeah.
I was going to say, who are you looking at out of the running backs ranking? But you're right. It's pretty easily Eckler, Mostert, A-Chain, whoever the hell else. Even the quarterbacks, I think it's pretty easily Herbert over Tua at this point. And anybody disagree? Herbert easily?
I think it's actually going to be pretty close between the two of them this week. In a high-scoring affair like this, Miami's going to do it through the air. That's how I expect them to do it this week. So I could see a shootout where both guys hit over 25 points this week.
Yeah, I'm not fading Tua, but I'm taking Herbert well over him if it's between the two. But yeah, Tua should have a good game. But about A-Chain, just take a look at that Dolphins starting roster. He's by far the third best option in the passing game. So if he is healthy and they decide to get creative with him, he could have a big game. I'd like to see it first, but again, if I'm in a pinch and he's full go, I'll fire him up.
Yeah, he went back to practice.
Nobody heard that?
I'll tell her. No, I got the headphones on so they can't hear anything.
Everybody alive over there? We're good?
Yeah. It's just a fake screen back there, yeah.
So out of the receivers of Hill, Waddle, Allen, Williams, I assume we're starting all of them? Anybody sitting any of those 4?
I mean, Mike Williams is just boom bust. That's his nature. So if you have other options that you're confident in, play those guys. But, yeah, he could boom. Allen's a stud. The 2 wide receivers.
How about Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer? Where do we sitting them, starting them? Where do we see them? Wait and see.
They could have a big play or 2 here or there. Palmer could be more involved than we want him to be, but at the end of the day, it's just the top 2. Everett really over those guys.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question. I was going to say which tight end do you, but then I had to Google who Miami's tight end was. So I'm going to just start Everett because I don't. Yeah, no, I'll pass. We haven't really talked much DST talk. Do you like either DST in this? I'm assuming you're. I think I had both of them ranked in my top 15, but not in this week. I'm benching both of them.
Yeah, it's not an ideal matchup for either one.
No, it's not.
Quick question about Williams. Are we buying the now perennial talk? Mike Williams is more involved in the offense. Is he? I mean, Jesse was saying he's boom bust. That's kind of my assumption with Mike Williams, and I'm off of him compared to where he goes at cost. But, are we buying that he's more involved in the offense again, or is he, the same old Mike Williams, assuming health?
I mean, it always holds true until he's injured. But so the year they draft a first-round wide receiver is the year he's going to be more involved in the offense. I can't see how it's possibly true. He might be till he gets injured, and then Quentin Johnson takes over from him. But no, I'm out on him at cost as well. How about you?
He just runs all the difficult routes, so that makes it tough for him from a fantasy perspective. He's that true X on the offense, and those are the most difficult routes to run. So he has harder matchups, harder routes to run. So it's not as easy as, say, Keenan Allen, right, where he's running the easier routes to get the target. So from a fantasy perspective, it's just harder for him.
Is that he just gets the harder routes and the harder catches? Because I swear it's like he catches the ball and then decides in his head, I'm going to find the hardest possible way to land on the ground here.
He's like a circus performer the way he lands.
Yeah,
it's just
like he's a crash test dummy out there. It's like he's trying to get hurt.
I always like to think about the Dallas offense. For some reason, it always sticks in my head where you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Michael Gallup, and insert wide receiver 3 this year is Brandon Cooks, right? But when Gallup's running on the outside, he's got all those. He's not separating great. He's running those contested catch routes, right? He's more prone to injury, and he seems to have kind of a tougher time seeing looks. And I feel like, Mike Williams is the same way. That's an easy kind of comparison, I guess, as well, with Kellen Moore moving over there. But, I just don't see it. He's not separating. Like Jesse said, he's got the harder matchups. So, meh.
I would like. Sorry, go ahead. What was that?
Just Matt Williams.
Oh, Matt, I'm like Matt Williams. Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cheddar is in our throat.
I would like to start Raheem Mostert and bench any Chargers receiver not named Keenan Allen. How about you, Jesse?
That sounds good to me. If I have Mike Williams, I probably have to play for him. With the Week 1 team, unless it's Dynasty, that's a different story. But with the redraft team, if you draft Mike Williams, he's likely your flex. So if you got to play him, you got to play him. But maybe you have a better matchup where you have someone like Zaire, so you can trust over him.
Jeremy?
Like we talked about earlier, I'm confidently starting Tua. I think he'll be a really good play this week. As far as benching, let's just call it Mike Williams and anyone else that's not Keenan Allen or Gerald Everett as pass catchers on the Chargers.
We have another line here from Sleeper. I think they went easy on us in the first week. I mean, not all the lines are up, but the prop for them is Austin Eckler rushing touchdowns over under a half a rushing touchdown. Everybody taking the over there?
Yeah, he's like Chris Carter. All he does is score touchdowns. So, yeah, I'm taking the over.
All right. That's what I thought. I thought it would be unanimous, which means once again, take the under when you use that promo code FFLW for the league winners there. There you go. Right on Sleeper, up to $100 match. Let's get us into our final game. We have the defending NFC champion Eagles on the road getting 4 points against the Patriots. This one's interesting. This looks on paper to be a slaughter. Unless the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. I guess we could start with Zeke. The reports coming out today are that Zeke is going to be used as the goal line running back and be a touchdown vulture. I don't think this surprises anyone. What are your thoughts on it? Jeremy?
I don't hate it as a Patriots fan. As a fantasy, manager, I absolutely hate it for Stevenson. The upside is erased. I do like that he's going to be a bit fresher and receive, a gabillion. It's a technical math term there. A gabillion checkdowns from Mac Jones over the course of the season. He'll be out there and fresh, but I would love to see that upside of full workhorse usage from here, and that's kind of now erased. As far as Zeke is concerned, I'll throw him in here or there, but against the Eagles, probably not.
A gabillion, that's a lot. What do you think, Jesse? Will it be a gabillion?
Well, I mean, that's like Juju's knee. It's gabillion all over the place. Like that report that we just got where the reporter for the Patriots was like, oh, his knee could go at any moment. And you're sitting here like, what? Where did this come from? So they have an injured Juju, an old decrepit Devontae Parker, some guy named Pop Douglas is who everybody's hyping up out of the Patriots wide receiver core. It's awful. So they're going to have to target somebody. So Ramondre's going to get targets. So he's just going to be high floor play. It's just the ceiling might not be there if Zeke is just going to take his 250-pound butt to the goal line and score those touchdowns. So, that
would that be Demario Douglas? Is that what his nickname is?
Yeah. His nickname is Pop, yeah.
Okay. That's how bad their wide receiving core is? That's who's getting play?
It's rough.
All right. So the quarterbacks, let's see, Jalen Hurts or Mac Jones?
You could give me 3 Mac Jones. I'm not going to start them over one.
Would you say that Jalen Hurts is a gabillion times better than Mac Jones?
He's going to score a gabillion points in this game for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's rank the 4 running backs. I'm going to go 5, I guess, 5. I'm going to go Ramondre, Zeke, Swift, Gainwell, Penny. But I have no confidence in the Eagles, and I wanted to go Gainwell, but I didn't want to sound crazy. So,
I would be bold.
It's a clear Ramondre over everyone else. Give me Ramondre, Penny, Swift, Gainwell, Zeke. I don't want anything to do with Zeke in this game. Just give me him in the soft matchups.
So I know people are super sketch about Swift this year, but the reports the last couple of weeks are like Swift has a very centralized role in that offense. So if of the running backs, they're off injured, but I'm going to bet on Swift. It's going to be Ramondre, Swift. Then I'm probably actually going to take Penny and Zeke, but they're back-to-back, and then Gainwell will be 5th.
I want Ramondre and one Eagles running back, but the problem is I don't know which Eagles running back it is. At least with Zeke, I'm hoping he's the most likely to vulture a goal line touchdown.
That's the thing.
Gainwell, Swift, I don't think if Swift scores, it's going to be on a passing touchdown. Gainwell could be either. Penny could be the goal line back. I think Penny would. You're right. I would redo this. I would say Stevenson, Penny, Zeke, Gainwell, Swift. But I don't like Swift. I don't like Swift.
I can tell.
Yeah, well, I live right near Detroit, so we're not big on Swift over here. Let's take a look at the receivers. I don't even know what to compare. Like, this is so it's like, how do we compare these? Like, okay, so
you have
AJ Brown or Devonta Smith? AJ or Devonta in week 1?
AJ barely. They're both
probably
top, like 14 receivers for me.
Yeah, probably DVS because maybe they decide to take away AJ Brown. Who knows?
I couldn't even compare him to the Patriots. It's like they play in 2 different sports. So we'll compare Quez Watkins, Juju, Parker, and Bourne. Rank those 4.
Oh man, that's rough.
Juju, Parker, Bourne, Quez.
Yeah,
Parker over Juju.
I don't know.
If Juju's healthy, he's playing. I'm gonna bet on him because he's going to get targets. The rest of the guys are not. Bourne's actually interesting if you want to take a flyer on Bourne between him and Parker, just because Parker's just I can't stand Parker. I don't want to touch Parker, so I'll bet on Bourne at least being involved somewhat. But realistically, why would you start either one of these guys? If you are, you're a sick person. Don't do it.
Yeah, you'd probably be better off taking a shot on the tight end than you would on the wide receiver.
I wish there was only one of them here because there is a decent role in this offense for Henry or Gesicki. I just don't know about both of them.
Is Gesicki finally healthy again?
Kinda.
Yeah, I'll bet on Henry. I just trust Henry.
I'd take Goddard over all 3 of them, or out of the 3 of them, but the funny part is I'm the low guy on Goddard. Like, he's being drafted as tight end 6, 7?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, he's been in the league, I think it's 5 or 6 years. I looked this up. In half PPR, his highest season-long finish is tight end 10. In full PPR, it's 12. He's never been higher than 10, and he's going as 6 and 7 every year. I don't get why have we fallen in love with Dallas Goddard? Is the tight end position just that bad that we want him?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he's clearly one of the better tight ends in the league. It's just he always gets hurt, and he was playing that part-time role with Ertz. So
that's the problem. So someone was saying the other day, but per game he's 4th or 5th. But the problem is he's so hurt that over his career he's still never been better than tight end 10. And I don't care. You're saying, okay, well, his per game, but what if he stays healthy? He's never stayed healthy enough in 5 or 6 years to be higher than 10. So why would I rely on that now? I'm out on Dallas Goddard. I have very few shares of him, but I'd still take him over Henry and Gesicki, which I guess tells you a lot about the Patriots pass catchers. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with Mac Jones passing 3 times per game, how can you go wrong?
It's like that Buffalo game a few years ago where they literally passed it 2 times. I was like, what is going on here? All
right, so for sit-start, we're going to assume we're starting Ramondre, sitting every other Patriot, and then let's choose one running back on the Eagles that you'd have to start if you had to pick one.
Swift.
Penny.
I think I go Penny as well. Is there any Eagles out of the big ones here? I guess, okay, exclude Quez Watkins here. Are you sitting any of them? Gainwell?
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to play. I'll switch. I'll say Gainwell. I'm not going to play.
I'll flex Gainwell, I think, but I don't know if he's a flat-out sit. Depends on who I have.
Yeah. I'm more as worried as you guys are with Swift. That's me with Gainwell. I just don't.
No.
I don't.
All right. The prop on this one is AJ Brown over under 67.5 receiving yards. I took the under.
I think you got to go with the over in this one. I mean, Belichick's going to scheme it to make sure he takes away a threat. Will that be Smith super deep, or will it be AJ on the boundary? Who knows? But no, give me the over. Someone's going to blow up in this game against the Patriots. It might as well be Brown.
I just think they might run it. Like, this might be a blowout by halftime, and they might just salt it away and have all the starters out. So I took the under. You said over. How about you, Jesse?
I'm going to go under, but just like he'll be And, like you're talking about, flag stocks doesn't put up right around like 60 receiving yards. It's just not going to be heavily involved because they're not going to need to get him heavily involved. And then you just let Hurts and those guys ground up out on the death. So yeah, I'm a little worried, but you got to play him. So
definitely worried.
All right. Well, that concludes our wrap up of the AFC home games, with the exception, like I said, of the Monday nighter, which is Bills and Jets. Tune in tomorrow where we're going to continue breaking down the week 1 matchups. We have the NFC games, which are Panthers, Falcons, Cardinals, Commanders, Bucks and Vikings, Titans, Saints, Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Bears, Cowboys, Giants, and the aforementioned Bills and Jets. So tune in tomorrow. Not exactly sure what time we'll be going live.
Hold on for a second. Can you put up that comment?
Oh, I didn't even see a comment in there. I wasn't paying attention. Brian B. Okay. We have start 2, Dalvin Cook, James Cook, Cam Akers, and Javonte. Good pickup there. I was almost going to start the show. How long's that been up? I haven't even noticed.
I've noticed it about 10 minutes ago, yeah.
I have the screen on full screen. Thanks for paying attention. I have it on full screen so I can see to host, so I don't often see those. And I just seen you say, hey, we got a message, put up the comments. So thanks for having my back there. I'm going to go Javonte and Cam Akers. How about you guys? I'd go Javonte, Cam, James, Dalvin. That's how I rank it.
Cook for me. I think it's a bit risky against that Jets D, but for me, you got to start him. It's difficult. I don't want to start Dalvin against the Bills. If I have to, I will, but no thanks. Probably volume Akers.
I'm going to go James Cook and Javonte Williams. Those are my guys this year, so we're riding with them in week 1. I don't know how Dalvin's dealing with stuff as well, so it's just like, and I hate the Rams offense. Like, I get it. Akers is going to see volume, but he could put up 50 total yards, and it just be.
So we're unanimous on sit Dalvin, right? And then it just becomes a matter of, once I get closer to game time, depending on what you hear about Javonte, I could pivot to Cam and James Cook, but I definitely think it's those 3. Like I said, if you want to play it safe because it's week 1, Cam and James Cook are the way to go. If you want a little more upside, I think I would take a shot here on Javonte, but depends on, if the rest of your lineup is solid and you don't have to swing for a home run, take the safe route, take James Cook, take Cam Akers, and we're good. Good catch on that, Jesse. Thank you. Like I said, full screen, I don't see them. So, if you want to come back tomorrow, hopefully Jesse will not be broadcasting from the emergency room and we can do the NFC home games. But that concludes Rat Pack Fantasy Football, the week 1 preview of the AFC home games. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks for joining me, guys. Take care and have a great night.